You live through these terrible times of testing and trauma and tragedy, but it can also be times where it transforms to triumph. Yeah, that's a lot of T's, but it can be. Right now, we're taking out the terrorist trash, really, and the 3.5 kilometers of tunnel in Khan Yunis, boom, it's gone. This tunnel system had all kinds of terrorist hideouts, all kinds of explosives, all kinds of weapons that were to be used to harm our civilians, our brothers, our sisters, our children. And in the ongoing operation, they were taken out. We're also saying enough's enough. Israel decides to cut the power to the UNRWA offices, that's the United Nations Refugee Watch Agency, to say, guys, you have been operating against democracy, peace, security, and now it's got to stop. This has got to stop. It's got to transform. Life cannot continue as normal. This is a shift. And also, you see what's in Syria. This is huge. Al-Jolani shows up. He's wearing a suit now. He's not wearing the Al-Qaeda or the ISIS suit anymore, uniform. Now he's wearing a suit. He's trying to be a politician. But right now they're attacking the Druze. Druze are our allies. They're our friends. We stand up for our friends, the Druze. Okay, Druze community. And so Israel said, that's it. Go strike those guys. So right now, Syrian Army's 12th Brigade on the city of Isra near the Dara province are being struck to stop them from attacking our friends, the Druze, our allies. Also, by the way, Hezbollah, they're continually trying to set up their whole Al-Qar al-Hassan group there with Hezbollah's Rodwan force. And right now, it's time to crack down on them again, because what's happening is Lebanon's central bank has officially banned all licensed financial institutions from engaging in any direct or indirect dealings with Hezbollah's unofficial shadow bank. So even their shadow banks are being banned. And so you have the Ayatollah now in Iran. You see, I'm jumping to the different regions, and Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has issued a direct response to the open letter by the Israeli minister Yoav Gallant last week. So our defense minister, our former defense minister, wrote him a letter, and it says that Israel's intelligence and military superiority have shown that we won the war, in short. And Khamenei dismissed the letter and called it a psychological influence operation, and that Gallant's claims about Israel's intelligence and military superiority over Iran are false and absurd. So what, they won? They think they won? No, they didn't. And so I'm telling you, Al-Jolani had better watch out, because we don't want to fight them in Syria. We want to be friends with them. And I want to see this change to be not the wild, wild West. I mean, the wild, wild East. The wild, wild Middle East, but for it to calm down, But they're moving all these tanks from the As-Suwaida region in southern Syria that's near our border, and we can't have that happen. We can't have them bring weapons and things up to our border. It can't happen. Also in Jericho, in Judea and Samaria, in Jericho, a terrorist sped towards a group of IDF officers, IDF forces that were operating in Jericho, and sped to try to run them over, but that terrorist was neutralized. Nobody was wounded from the Israeli side. So again, about this wild, wild East. Let me tell you what. You remember the wild, wild West in the United States? You remember that? Where it's like, it's a stick up, hands in the air. What are you got a stagecoach? We're going to rob your stagecoach. You remember all that kind of stuff that used to be? What's the difference between the wild, wild West and America after you have laws? Well, it's called proper law enforcement and proper law applied. That's what annexing Judea and Samaria, the heartland of Israel, would be. Annexing means you say laws got to apply. Okay, maybe some areas have a little bit different, structure, but it needs to all be under law. You can't just have a wild. It used to be the Turkish mandate, then it was the British mandate, and now it's like the British have left, and it hasn't been annexed as part of Israel. So no wonder there's all kinds of violence and all kinds of stuff. I want to talk to you about what I read in the Jerusalem Post, a U.S. and United States and Israel joint fund, $200 million U.S. and Israel quantum fund. That's $100 million from Israel, $100 million from the United States, proposed by Major General in Reserves Tamir Hayman, and he's the director of the National Security Studies, and it's a fund for research and development. And it's for binational science, binational technology. And so you have strategic partners that could join from Saudi Arabia, maybe from the United Arab Emirates, and who knows, maybe from Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kuwait, I don't know. and build on the Abraham Accords success. I don't know. I'm hoping that this will happen. It'll grow, and it'll be a thing to do instead of jihad and terror. And it also counter China's growing influence in quantum and AI regional tech and all their dominance of that sphere. So we want to be able to together use the Jewish smarts over here and be able to develop something that would be really amazing for all of Judea and Samaria. And so it would be partly funded through the 2022 United States CHIPS Act. So that is saying that Israel must pass control laws and everything, so China can't just dominate and hack us and all this stuff. So we need a lot of cutting-edge technology. That would transform this whole area. Why doesn't Syria jump in on that? Why doesn't all these nations jump in on a Gulf states unity with Israel? Let's call it the Abraham Accords. Make Abraham proud. So right now, we're going to hear more about what Trump's going to do with that and how this is all going to grow. But I'm telling you this right now. Dr. Ariel Sobelman says that Israel brings the brains and the Gulf states must bring the power. And together, we're going to have a whole new Middle East with quantum power. Psalm chapter 121, verse 4 says, "Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." Do you believe that? That explains to Iran what they called a supernatural intervention of God in this last war.